No, I just wanted to say to let the drain plug open on the truck at the bottom of the radiator. Go into the front wheel well on the passenger side, and right up in there, right about there, you can't really see it, but reach in right there, there's a little drain plug. I had to get a replacement, so mine's really easy to open because it's got like a wing nut type on the end. Otherwise you have to use a pair of pliers or a 1/4 inch ratchet square drive to get it open, which I believe there might be a Torx inside there, inside the plastic drain plug. When I went to pull back the heater core housing, I was having trouble pulling it back. It didn't sound like it wanted to go. Down here on the passenger side, under the dash, there's a bolt right there. 10 millimeter. So I pulled that out, we'll try it again. So now as you can see, I got the dash pulled all the way back. I got the heater core pulled back. Now I got to remove those two. Actually, they're 5.5 millimeter. I don't know what they are standard. I'm sure you could find something. If you get it this far and you don't have the right size for those, I'm sure you'll figure out something because there's really no turning back. I'm getting ready to put in the new heater core. There's the old one, and you're supposed to reuse the foam on there. I kind of started to peel it off and it was just kind of crappy. It's probably not going to stick to the new one. So I went over to Menards and got some black weather stripping with the sticky stuff on the back and rewrapped it with that. So gonna try putting that in, and here we go. Alright, you're not going to believe this. If you do this yourself, you probably won't do it this way, but what I did, to get the bolt inside the blower motor resistor hole, what I did is inside there I got a stubby 10 millimeter ratcheting wrench, and well, I did have a string tied to it so I don't drop it, because I don't got a magnet to pick it up if I do. And then on the bolt I wrapped masking tape around it, like around the head of the bolt once, with a string tied to it so if I drop it I don't lose it again. And I threaded the string through the end of the bolt on the ratcheting end, got it in there. It was kind of a bitch, but I got my hand in there and I could just enough move my hand to crank it all the way in, and it's tight. So I got the bolt tightened in there, ripped the masking tape off with the string. Just a little bit of masking tape left. Now I just need to put the blower motor resistor, which is right there, back in its hole with the 3 screws. Just to show you here how I remembered where all the bolts went and where they are going to go back, where they came from. I have 2 pieces of paper, pretty easy. Starting with the first ones there, and working my way all the way to the total disassembly and going backwards. So I got the heater core housing bolts, that's on the firewall side, there's 3 of those. Got the blower motor resistor screws, there's 3 of those. I got the radio and AC controls, 5 screws. I actually shouldn't have taken those off because I did not pull the whole dash. It won't be hard to put those back in anyways. Inside the glove box I had 2 screws, 2 nuts, and 5 bolts. Right here I got my passenger side kick panel screws underneath, and I drew a little diagram. There's in the order they go, there's 2 panels underneath the glove box up above your feet. This one has the big washer. There's one with a small, big and big on this panel. Up here I got my right hand speaker and 1 dash screw, left hand speaker and 1 dash screw. I got my 4 cowl vent screws, which you pry up with a flat bladed screwdriver to get them out, and behind there's these 4 screws. And once again, I don't know why, but there's 2 small headed ones and 1 big washer and a small washer, and that's the order they go from the driver's side to the passenger side, all 4 of them. Up here's my 4 gauge screws. Here's the driver's side. These big bracket, all the bolts for those. Over here I got my instrument cluster bezel, and there was, I don't know, once again, there's 1 long screw for some reason in one of the holes, and it goes on the right side. There's 3 of those. Over here I got the driver's side kick panel and under column panels. and there's one short screw on the bottom. For some reason there's 9 of those. That's how I will make sure I don't have any screws left over when I'm done. I forgot to mention, when you're taking the dash off, when it finally comes off, there's a bracket over here that catches. You can kind of see it's like a little hook catches on there. So when you're putting it back on, make sure you get that on. And then on the driver's side, there's this little hole here. It goes on a pin. That's right there. That's how you line it back up, slide it back up, tilt it forward. So now I'm reassembling, finally. Let's see, I've been working on this since 3:20, it's now 9:44. So 6.5 hours, not too bad. So far, once I got the dash pins lined up on each side, I tilted the dash up, and to hold it in place, since I'm doing this by myself and had nobody to hold it, I threw one dash screw in there and then went to the other side and threw the other one in over there underneath the speaker covers. After that, I put in that bracket back in with the 2 nuts, 2 screws on the bracket, and then those 2 small screws up there. I put that plug back in, tighten that screw down, and that screw on that bracket back in over there. Also, there's 2 bolts up in there. That one and that one, I believe, right there. And then now I guess I'll put in the stereo and go from there. So now I got the stereo and the air conditioning heater controls back in, and I know some people would say label all the wiring and everything, all the connectors, but really you don't have to. They all match up to exactly where they have to go. They pretty much all look different. It's really not that hard. So after I did that, then I came down here, put this bracket on with these screws or bolts here, 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 and here. Pretty simple. And then I put the instrument cluster back in, just 4 screws. Pretty easy. While I was doing it, I cleaned off the plastic, of course, and then I had some dust inside there, so I blew it out with air through the trip reset button, and there's a couple little holes up there on the top. You can blow air in there and clean it all out real good. And since I am putting it back together and it's easier to do it now than later, neat little trick, your vents are probably really dirty, so if you spray them with Windex, and if you got an air hose, get them nice and wet, don't get any on these controls here, or obviously your headlight controls, and then blow them off with compressed air. Get them real nice and clean looking. So I kind of skipped some of the steps near the end there, kind of wanted to hurry up and get it done. It's New Year's Eve 2011, kind of just about midnight, like to get out, so just gonna go over some stuff real quick. Some tools you might need, or would be handy, would be a nice light, maybe a flashlight, a small